Hi, welcome to the Day 2 recap at the 2013 College Championships in Madison, Wisconsin, presented by Spin Ultimate. For Skyd Magazine, I'm Ryan Thompson, here with Cami Groom, Robin Fenig, and Adam Lerman. We saw some great games today in pool play, starting with Virginia, the number 10 seed, taking on Iowa State, the number 3 seed. Iowa State came out great early on, going up 6-3 with some great hucks. Players like Megan Liu and Cami Nelson connecting deep. But Virginia wouldn't go away. They came back with a great zone defense led by the marks of Katrien Hinderdale and Kristen Mazer. Alika Johnson was unstoppable for Virginia on offense, even guarded by Becca Miller. She had some great IO breakthrows, some great upline cuts, and really Virginia came back in the second half to take the lead against Iowa State and closed it out. Iowa State couldn't get the Ds, they couldn't get the breaks, and Virginia, last throw of the game, Alika Johnson with a beautiful huck to Sarah Hansen with Cami Nelson in coverage. Hansen scores 15-13 UVA. Cami, you saw Northwestern UC Santa Barbara. How was that game?
Well, Ryan, the story for the whole tournament for Northwestern has been about fortifying their weaknesses. This spring, they struggled with four-side man defense and with patient chilly offense. They did not struggle in that way today. They were actually phenomenal in playing a team game, keeping the space, and playing really, really tight D on a tough UCSB squad. And they were especially effective with their matchups. Lisa Bacathley was effective but not dominant, and they were able to keep Alicia Thompson relatively quiet. And then for their own players, Leanne Hoffman was once again sensational, doing everything from pulling to playing defense to running the offense. Just truly an outstanding tournament performance for her. And in the end, Northwestern was able to eke out the victory on Universe 12-11 and launch themselves into pre-quarters.
Great. Thanks, Cami. One of the other great games from today, in the morning, Adam saw Whitman versus Central Florida.
So this was a game that came right down to the wire. Sunny Harris of University of Central Florida was huge. She had 9 assists and 1 goal as her team got to a 12-12 Universe point. Whitman was pulling on defense, and Lillian Bailey of Whitman got 2 big Ds and then found herself wide open cutting deep. Disc was right in front of her, and she dropped what would have been the game-winning goal. Whitman came back, forced a turn, and scored to win that game on Universe, probably about almost 15 minutes past the hard cap, winning 13-12.
Another exciting game in Pool C. Robin, though, you saw Central Florida, loser of that Universe point game, play Iowa State, earlier losers to Virginia. How was that game?
Well, Central Florida really stayed with Iowa State in terms of momentum. Iowa State ended up taking half. The two teams traded for most of the half, but Iowa State took the half. Came out of half on fire, but Central Florida didn't go down quietly. Sunny Harris and Katie Fox of Central Florida did a really phenomenal job of spreading the field wide and keeping some good lateral movement in the Sirens' offense until something deep would open up. And Mariel Hammond just exploded out of halftime, making great grab after great grab and really fighting to help get the Sirens back into the game, forcing Universe point. But Iowa State, like always, they play exciting ultimate. They win big, and that's what we saw today. We saw Cami Nelson being very patient, trying to get the disc through that 4-2-1 zone that Central Florida was running. Worked it upfield. Cami got the disc back and hit Linda Barrere for the game winner on Universe point. And that meant that Iowa State qualified for pre-quarters, and Central Florida dropped out of the championship bracket.
Right, that was quite the scare for Iowa State. The 3 seed overall, almost missing pre-quarters entirely. But after that Universe point win, Iowa State would come back and play British Columbia in pre-quarters, a really tough matchup. UBC was number 2 in our Skyd Power rankings coming into the tournament, but got the 7th seed at Nationals. Now they play Iowa State in pre-quarters. That was a really exciting game. You'd think that Iowa State, after playing that Universe point game, would be incredibly tired, and they looked it on the field, but their play was anything but. I think they used that exhaustion to really calm down their offense, prevent those huck turnovers and aggressive throws that had plagued them in the Virginia game. They were able to use the break side, hit the dumps. They were really patient. They love wide open throws to space, switching the field with break hucks. Sarah Pesch throwing great inside-out backhand breaks to Megan Liu, who would then launch crossfield hucks to Becca Miller or Cami Nelson. Really, Iowa State came out strong, They maintained. They didn't get broken in that first half, really. Their offense was great. And UBC, with some uncharacteristic turnovers, they let Iowa State go up a couple breaks early and let Iowa State rest those star players. In the second half, though, UBC came back with the zone. No team this weekend has really been able to stop Iowa State in man, and UBC was no exception. However, in the second half, they pulled on the zone defense. Iowa State struggled. That open space, those break throws they were throwing in the first half weren't nearly as open in the zone, and they started throwing more and more turnovers. At 10-10, with UBC coming back, Catherine Hui of British Columbia, their star player, the Callahan nominee, she pulled her hamstring. She would sit out the rest of the game. But Crystal Koo, the handler, took over for UBC, throwing 3 hammers for goals, getting the disc every other, attacking up the line, really taking this game into her own hands and helping UBC pull away 15-12. Tomorrow, UBC advances. They'll face Oregon in the quarterfinals, a Northwest rematch. They actually didn't play in the finals of regionals, even though British Columbia got second. They'll play here. But if Catherine Hui can't go, with Mira Donaldson not playing at this tournament, I really think UBC is undermatched here. They may prove me wrong. They've been coming back and playing well all weekend, but Oregon is just too strong. They're fired up. They're ready to go. They want to win this year, and I don't think UBC at less than full strength can stop them. On to the next pre-quarter. Robin, you saw Washington, Minnesota.
As a North Central player for many years, I've really enjoyed watching Minnesota develop. I think a lot of teams have really sold Minnesota short. They're a lot deeper than just Sarah Mextroth, who played phenomenally for the Ninjas. Washington opened up the game, going on a 4-point run. Minnesota answered back, but Element was able to secure half 8-6. Right out of half, Minnesota went on a huge run without letting Washington score any points. It was really fueled by Natalie DePalma's huge break side backhand hooks to space to Sarah Mextroth and Emily Reagan, who were wide open in transition offense. They went and put on a zone, and Washington's handlers struggled a little bit with the zone look, but they collected themselves and began to hit open hands rather than trying to create something downfield. Fought back to 12s. Teams traded, forced universe point. Both teams had a chance to score. Minnesota couldn't quite reel it in, but Washington worked it up with Alyssa Letourneau making a big grab just outside the end zone. Hits a nice little lefty backhand break to Barbara Hoover for the win. Tomorrow, Washington will face Carleton in quarterfinals. Both teams, I think, are very talented in terms of disc skills, but I think Carleton has a lot of momentum in their favor right now. They're playing very, very good, fundamentally sound ultimate. Their offense, I think they're being a lot more creative than they have in years past, hitting open looks and not really forcing anything, especially deep. Anna Reed and Julia Snyder have had great tournaments individually and have really led a very experienced syzygy team.
Thanks, Robin. Cami, you saw the pre-quarter today between two of the upset specials of earlier. You saw Northwestern versus Virginia. Tell me about that game.
Well, Ryan, this was really a tale of two halves. In the beginning, it was all Northwestern. They were playing chilly, patient offense and slicing through a Virginia defense that just didn't look like they had it together. But at 9-7, the game began to change a little bit. Virginia came out of half. They had run 2 zones in the first half, and one zone had been working more effectively, so they decided to stick with that. And their zone just killed it. Northwestern could not advance the disc up the field at all. The cup was all over the handlers, getting hand block or forcing turns. And in the end, Alika Johnston, with those crazy flick throws of hers, were able to lead Virginia to another comeback victory. So they've really proven this tournament that they can get down, but if they're down, don't count them out, because they will come back and will get the victory. And they were able to win this game 13-11, and they will advance to play Iowa in the quarters tomorrow. We'll see if they have another tough victory in them. Unfortunately, I wonder how much they have left in the tank after so many comeback victories, so much hard fighting on defense and on offense. Their D-line has to be tired playing point after point after point. And Iowa's had a great tournament so far with Twowig and Miner lighting it up. And with Coach Mikey Lund's strategic adjustments, see Iowa tearing up that zone tomorrow.
Great, thanks. It'll be exciting to see Alika Johnston play some more. She's only a sophomore, but she is a great player. One for the future for sure. Adam, you saw Tufts versus Wisconsin in the final pre-quarter of the day. How was that?
Well, this game was a game that wasn't the most exciting of the pre-quarter games. Wisconsin was able to stay in it early behind Lorraine Guerin, making some big plays downfield. But in the end, Tufts was just too deep and too strong with their handlers. Sheena Titcomb and Claudia Tajima were able to basically take turns running the offense, and Tufts rotated a lot of players onto the field. They took half 8-5 and didn't get broken again in the second half, winning the game 14-8.
Great. And tomorrow, Tufts plays Ohio State. Thoughts on that one?
I think this is one of the most exciting quarterfinals matchups. These are two very deep teams that have been rotating a whole lot of players. I think we're going to see Ohio State take this one just because they've really well rested. They haven't been faced with much of a challenge yet so far, whereas Tufts has played a number of very hard games.
Great. And we picked the 4 pool winners to advance in quarterfinals, but I wouldn't be surprised to see any of those pre-quarters winners come out on top. I'd love to be proved wrong tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Thompson with Cami Groom, Robin Fenig, and Adam Lerman.